Anytime, man. I ain't got shit to do today. I'm taking the day kind of light and just cutting weight, so it's good.
Good. I'm trying to. I just got so much writing I got to catch up on. I just started grad school. I don't know if I told you for journalism.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah, over here at
nice.
UNLV. Yeah, man. So you still haven't moved out here. I see. I know you've been trying. So just for the listeners and the viewers here, I want to peel back the curtain for just a minute and explain how I got acquainted with this young man, J.R. Coughran, in case you haven't seen him on here before. This is Rodney James with Combat Press, bringing you another exclusive interview. So J.R. was out in Las Vegas to try out for the Ultimate Fighter, the Undefeated season. And ultimately, you didn't make the show. You were an alternate. Lost my stream there. Okay, boom. Stream's back up. Yeah, so like I said, what else brings a fighter out to Las Vegas besides 9 times out of 10 it's a shot at the UFC? So you got your foot in the door with that the tryout with the Ultimate Fighter. It didn't quite go your way, but you got another opportunity to get out there in front of the UFC brass, and you headlined the season finale of Dana White's Tuesday Night Contender Series Season 2. Now, before we get to that, though, remind me, after the Ultimate Fighter tryout and before Contender Series, how many fights, because you were undeterred. I mean, you got the opportunity. It didn't happen. You went right back to Oklahoma. You went right back to work, and you had a couple fights, right? Before Contender Series, was 1 or 2?
Oh, since I tried out for the Ultimate Fighter, no, I didn't have any. Like I got to 6-0. I had just won the HDMMA belt out here in Oklahoma, and then that's when they called. Like Gary DeFranco called and said he wanted me to come try out for the Ultimate Fighter. So I left and I did that, and then I came back home and I was actually training for another fight, and that's when I broke my neck. And so I had a little bit of time off, and then I did the Contender Series.
I see. Okay, and I wanted to talk about that. For some reason, I thought there was another fight in there, but yes, tell me about that. You broke your neck. I mean, what exactly happened? What was the diagnosis in terms of like which vertebrae? What was the treatment? What was the recovery like? That is a very serious thing. It could be career-ending, and for you, you soldiered on as you continue to do now.
Yeah, man. It was just one of those freak accidents, like doing something I do 1,000 times. I was sparring with a good buddy of mine, Jared Sanders. He fought in the UFC. We were sparring, and I got in on a takedown on him. I picked him up, going off the cage, did a double leg just like I do all the time. I mean, I couldn't tell you how many times I did a double off the cage. Did that. Both his weight and mine coming down, my tip of my forehead caught the cage, and just our weight hit, and just, man, I felt something snap back there, and then my arms went numb. And me being the idiot I am, I got up, shook it off, sparred like 3 more rounds, and then I got done, and I'm just everything locked up on me, and I drove myself to the hospital, and they're like, man, yeah, you broke your T1 vertebrae. I broke the spinous process off my vertebrae there, and man, recovery wasn't like too long. Like it was supposed to be longer, but I got that call for the Contender Series, so I just ran with it. Took that brace off a little early, and just got to work. And it's all good now. Everything turned out good.
They don't make people much tougher than they do in Oklahoma. I mean, they don't come much tougher than that. Wow, that's incredible. So, I mean, there's so many things about that's incredible. I mean, you continue to spar through the practice session. You couldn't feel your arms, but you drove yourself to the hospital. Probably not the safest thing, but you did it anyway. And I mean, did you have to have like surgery? Did they have to fuse vertebrae? What was the recovery like? I mean, you said it went well and ahead of schedule, but what exactly was involved in that?
Man, it was honestly very simple. Since it's my T1 vertebrae, it's that vertebrae that's right under your neck. Like you got all these ones in your neck that kind of do all the bending, the rotation and everything. Luckily, that spot that I broke in was a spot that doesn't do anything other than help with like your posture and things like that. So I honestly just had to be in that brace, like just go to sleep and like exercise in that brace for about, it was supposed to be 8 weeks. But I ended up doing it for 6 because I got that call for the Contender Series. I popped it off, and I just had to do some physical therapy. That's really all I had to do, and just not not wrestle and or grapple or anything. I was able to hit mitts. I was able to lift weights. I was able to do like my PT stuff, but it all had to be in my brace and stuff. So not too tough of a recovery, but still, given the time constraint I had to get ready for that fight, it just made it a little tougher than it had to be.
Well, and you certainly got a super tough opponent in that fight. Of course, you're talking about the Contender Series main event and the season finale, which I alluded to previously. That was against another buddy of mine, Alex Gilpin, and it was the fight where you suffered your first loss. And so after that, this next fight in which you're defending the HD Featherweight title this weekend, which, by the way, I thank you for joining us so close to the fight. I imagine, you're a little bit cranky now. I know I would be. It's getting really close to time to step on the
it's all
scale.
good. Anytime, man. Anytime you ask to be on, I'll jump on. I don't even care. It's I'm a little hangry, but it's all good.
You and me both. You and me both. I just got back from work and was just working on some writing stuff. But yeah, I wanted to catch up with you and chat with you. So I guess the biggest thing is, I mean, I saw you. We hung out a little bit after the fight with Gilpin too. Actually, we all hung out and your
great guy, guy.
Yeah,
man.
It really is. And so is your coach, that lunatic Matt Rice. He's a good guy, man. Good people. And so you were in great spirits, good attitude at that time. But now that you've had some time to reflect on that loss, being your first loss, what are some of the major lessons and takeaways that you have from that?
Man, some major takeaways I had in that, albeit though I lost, and it was embarrassing. I was on Fight Pass, I lose a fight, and that aspect of it sucks. But it did show me that I can compete with the best in the world. Because Alex, man, he's great, and I thought I did great in that fight. And I certainly wasn't outmatched. I wasn't out of my league, and it showed me what I'm capable of doing. I just got to mind my P's and Q's and do things a little smarter than I did in that fight, and not get a little carried away.
Well, you're right. You both had your moments in that fight. It was a great fight. I mean, it was a perfect one to. It's what we've come to expect from Contender Series. I mean, to put it bluntly, I mean, we just, we see guys come in there and they're hungry because they know that, look, this is actually in a way better than an Ultimate Fighter opportunity. While the Ultimate Fighter gives you more camera time for the audience to get to know you, the ratings really have been so bad that almost doesn't even matter. And people are really taking to this Contender Series. And so we're seeing so many great fights. That one was no different. I lost my train of thought. Oh, so yeah. So what I was saying is it was a great fight. Both of you had your moments. And, of course, Alex got a great finish. And he actually didn't even get selected to go to the UFC. So it just goes to show that, man, like, you both came out there, put it all on the line. You came up short, but, you still walked out of the Ultimate Fighter gym with the same parting gift, I should say, as your opponent, even though he won.
Yeah, and like going back to what you were saying about the Contender Series and the Ultimate Fighter, now looking back on it, I'm very glad I didn't get chosen for the Ultimate Fighter, because that just seems like it's a tough road with like not everybody gets on that either, And I think Contender Series is just the perfect environment to just have all these crazy good fights. You're not having to worry about taking damage because you got to fight the next week or anything. Everybody goes in there, they put it all on the line, and man, there were so many good fights this season. So many good fights. And I really enjoyed my experience with that. And even though I lost, but it opened a lot of doors for me, and I think I impressed, even though I got handed a loss, and it was good, man. It was really good.
Yeah, even though I only have a handful of fights at amateur, experiencing loss for the first time for me was all of those things you talked about. It's embarrassing. It's humbling. It's it's upsetting. But at the same time, some people say that whole "you win or you learn" kind of mantra, and there is some truth to that because everybody loses eventually, and the thing is, like, number one, it's good for your psyche because you have to realize, okay, I'm not invincible. And number two, it also makes you realize that, hey, you know what? Can I fight back from adversity? Because this is a setback. And mixed martial arts is a very tough road, and it's full of setbacks.
Oh yeah. Yeah, man. I've come to realize, like, even though that was my first loss, I've never learned anything through going out there, knocking someone out in 2 seconds or 2 minutes, whatever it may be. I've never learned anything other than I can freaking hit hard or, something like that. Nothing positive comes from it. It's just like, setbacks teach you who you are. And I was very glad to have that setback and, have it by a great opponent in Alex Gilpin. I couldn't respect that dude anymore. And, certainly has propelled me to become a better fighter.
And despite the setbacks, despite despite not getting on Ultimate Fighter, despite the tragic freak accident of the broken neck, and then coming up short on Contender Series of all places and suffering loss for the first time, you continue to forge on ahead because you still have that HD MMA belt around your waist, which you will defend against, I believe, is Luis Luna. Did I have that right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I'm going to be fighting Luis Luna,
Okay.
and he's a tough dude as well, man. Rough and tough, likes to swing hard, likes to throw heavy, and he actually just beat a teammate of mine, and Jared Sanders, who's also, like I mentioned earlier, UFC vet. And I'm going out. I want to get that one back for Jay, and propel myself forward in this game. And it's going to be a tough fight. And like I said, I respect him, but I think I'm going to go out there and I'm going to beat him.
Good. Well, yeah, so you're on a revenge mission, and you're also on a mission of redemption. So you've got a lot on your plate. You seem to be in great spirits. How is the pressure getting to you? I have to imagine, headlining a fight is more stressful than any other placement on the card. Ideally, I think we would all just rather show up, get the damn fight over with, and get the hell out of there.
Bro, you are speaking my language. Like, I would rather fight first, go home, get out of there, drink a few beers, and go home, man. I don't want to have to sit there and wait all night and then be like, put on the pressure. But, I like pressure too. But yeah, I'd still rather get it out of the way.
Yeah, but you're a wrestler from Oklahoma, so I have to imagine that that's just a familiar. That's an old friend for you. Heartache and pressure and stress and aggravation. It's just another day at the office, right?
Yeah, yeah. That's couldn't have said it any better, man. It's nothing new to me. Pressure's nothing new to me, and adversity is nothing new to me, man. So it's like you said, another day in the office, and I can't wait to do it.
Good. Well, I can't wait to check it out. What is that you're sipping on there on the table? It looks like it says CBD on the. They're making CBD drink.
Gives you all the added benefits you could want. That's, like I said, that's quantum CBD H2O.
So what does a bottle of that cost for those of us who are not sponsored by them? Do you know?
Man,
where do you get it?
I believe it. Yeah, I believe you could get it at stores around here in Oklahoma for about $4.99, and it's worth its weight in gold, man. Like, CBD helps me a ton, especially given all my injuries that I have. Like, I gotta have it, man. I gotta have it.
Okay, and that's completely legal in the state. I would think in all places Oklahoma would be opposed to that. I do understand that there's different kinds. You have CBD that's because we were talking a little bit before we started recording. I'm actually I invest in the stock market, and so I'm always looking at different things like that. And I know there's CBD that's made from hemp, which is not it doesn't have the THC and the psychoactive or chemicals, like you should say, the psychoactive properties
non-psychoactive
of marijuana. But then there's also CBD that's derived from marijuana, and even though it doesn't have enough THC to give you that psychoactive effect, it still has THC, and therefore it's federally illegal. So I'm assuming that this one is, because there's
this one is
in
not.
Oklahoma?
This one is not. This is all THC free. It's lab tested, and it's just all CBD. It's just derived from like hemp. So there's no THC in it at all.
And so therefore it's legal in the state of Oklahoma, in other words, like, because I mean there's nothing illegal about hemp itself anywhere.
Yeah, nothing illegal at all, and it's 100%. It's all 100% legal. The Oklahoma Commission is not going to come bite me in the butt for it, and I don't have to worry about anything because it's all THC free, guaranteed.
Yeah. Well, because the reason I bring it up, as I continue to do my homework on the stock market and things like that, I go above and beyond. Like sometimes I will, for example, I contacted the TSA, and I asked them. Said, well, I understand that there's different types of CBD, and there's, like we mentioned, some that has trace amounts of THC because it's derived from marijuana, others that's derived from hemp, and therefore it has no THC whatsoever. And I asked the TSA, I said, well, if someone was traveling with that, because I have a lot of friends and stuff like that, as you know, that come through, everybody comes to Vegas. And I reached out to the TSA to ask them that, and they said, if you have any CBD product on you, it's federally illegal, and therefore you'd be turned over to the authorities. And so I argued with the TSA about that on this email thread. I said, no, look, you have that wrong. Okay, it's not federally illegal if it's derived from hemp. So we gotta get that one figured out. Anyway, I'm going off on a rant here.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you have any more sponsors besides Quantum H2O with their delicious $5 CBD? Who else is paying the bills for you? I know you've got all kinds of endorsements. Shout them out, buddy.
So yeah, man, I got a Quantum CBD. I'd like to thank them for helping me out. Herman's Plumbing here locally in Oklahoma City, in the Midwest City area. They helped me with everything, and they're a great company. I'd also like to thank my boss at work and that company, PT Central, for giving me a job, keeping me healthy, and being there for me throughout all these injuries and everything throughout my entire career. Couldn't thank those people enough. Then I'd like to thank Dr. Robert Hines, who also keeps me healthy 100% all the time. He's looked out for me my whole career, and can't thank that dude enough. And that's really it, man. I can't think of anything else.
J.R. Coughran, everybody, a friend of the show. You couldn't ask for a better guest. We love to have you every single time that you fight, and even when you're not fighting. I got to get you on here to help me with some of these breakdowns. So many fights going on, so many awesome fights this year, and I think it's just going to continue into the future because Bellator's stock is going through the roof as well, and I don't mean in terms of stock market. What's that now?
I said they're taking off, and then there's been a ton of drama this year too with the UFC and all that. Yeah,
exactly. Things are getting pretty exciting for MMA, and hopefully we'll see you back here in Las Vegas, perhaps for your next opportunity at the UFC. But of course, right now you've got a daunting task in front of you. You got to take on Luis Luna. That is this weekend, and what city is that in? Is that Tulsa?
Oklahoma City.
Oklahoma City. And I don't know why I always think you're from Tulsa. No, Oklahoma City. That's like night and day. Yeah, Oklahoma City.
About an hour and a half away. Yeah, you can catch it live on www.hdmma.net as well. So,
beautiful.
For those of you that aren't.
And that's free? Tell me that's free.
I hope, because I just plugged it and I don't want.
Well, we'll find out.
I have no clue.
We'll tune in and check it out. Again, that's the main event, correct, for the featherweight championship?
Yes, it's going to be the main event for HDMMA. Be the main event.
All right, brother. Well, I thank you again, and hey, you tell your coach Matt Grice that I said what's up, and best of luck to you, brother. And we'll talk to you real soon. All right. Thank you again.
Hey, thank you, man. Thank you.
All right. Take care, my friend.
Hey, you too, boss man.
Later.